Hello and welcome to Los Angeles Union Station. Today we're embarking on an incredible journey to the Midwest, riding 43 hours from here to Chicago on board Amtrak Southwest Chief. The Southwest Chief runs from the Southwest to the Midwest, connecting Los Angeles with Chicago. Our journey on the Chief begins just after sunset, our train heading out of LA through Cajon Pass and across the Mojave Desert to Arizona. The sun greets us just as we cross through Petrified Forest National Park, the Chief crossing into New Mexico just after breakfast. Albuquerque is one of two engine inspection points on the Southwest Chief, the stop extended to a little under an hour. Once back on the move, we head through Raton Pass and into Colorado as the sun sets, Kansas traversed entirely overnight. Day 3 begins with a stop in Kansas City before steaming through Missouri and Illinois to our final destination of Chicago's Union Station. We'll cover a total of 2,265 miles on our unbelievable adventure, with a travel time of 42 hours and 55 minutes. Los Angeles Union Station is one of the last remaining great railway stations in the United States. Built in the 1930s, the Southern California station is the largest passenger terminal in the western United States. Union Station serves almost 110,000 daily passengers. Its 14 tracks host 4 Amtrak long-distance services, Amtrak Pacific Surfliner Intercity Line, 6 Metrolink commuter rail services, and connections to LA Metro's A, B, and D lines. LA Union Station is truly a masterpiece, encapsulating that golden era of rail travel in the US. The station hall features high ceilings and chandeliers, gold accents, and a gorgeous tiled floor. Beyond the waiting hall are a number of shops and restaurants for waiting passengers, ticketing desks for Metrolink and Amtrak, Amtrak's baggage claim, and rental car desks for onward travel. After grabbing our ticket from one of Amtrak's quick track ticketing kiosks, it's off to the platforms for a bit of sunset rail fanning before departure. There's never a dull moment at track level here in LA. Metrolink trains come and go every few minutes, the setting sun and clear sky painting the San Gabriel Mountains in an incredible orange. Sun now set, it's time to go relax in the lounge before boarding. The Metropolitan Lounge in LA is rather difficult to find if you don't know where to look. Tucked away beyond the Amtrak ticketing desk and rental car services is a single sign for the lounge, an unassuming stairwell which leads up to the entrance. There's also an elevator to the second floor not far from the stairwell. LA's Metropolitan Lounge is a little on the small side, considering the number of passengers that could be here at any one time, but with only 6 to 7 people waiting in the lounge today, there's more than enough space for everyone. In addition to the mix of tables and comfortable lounge chairs, the lounge also offers complimentary snacks and drinks. The drink selection includes sodas, juice, and water in a fridge, with hot coffee and tea on the counter beside it. In the back corner, we find the complimentary snacks. There are many options to choose from, including coffee cakes, snack bars, and stroopwafels laid out across the table. I always make sure to grab a few extra things from the snack and drink selection whenever I'm in a lounge. While meals are complimentary for sleeper passengers, snacks and drinks are not, so I highly recommend stocking up on the lounge selection or bringing your own. Boarding may not be starting for another 30 minutes, but it's a good thing I've got the perfect game to pass the time. That's right, it's Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is a massive online RPG with millions of players worldwide and mobile graphics that rival even that of console and PC quality. People are often quick to criticize Raid, saying that it's shallow and lacks strategy. Well, I'm here to clear up this misconception. Raid is one of the deepest games out there, with gameplay enough to last years on end while never getting bored. With over 800 heroes, PvE, PvP, and CVC content, tons of artifacts, and clan bosses, there's always something to do. Raid is a world you can easily immerse yourself in while remaining challenging to keep even the top strategists on their toes. And if that's not enough, Raid just launched one of their biggest expansions yet, the Cursed City, which includes over 100 stages to complete, some where you'll have to take on 2 of Raid's bosses at once. And with Raid celebrating their 5th anniversary, now is the perfect time to start playing. Download today using the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get insane bonuses available only with my link. We're talking an epic champion, Drake, and more. come find me in-game at Lone Star Trips, and thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. The first boarding call for Train 4 comes 45 minutes before our scheduled departure time. Unlike our previous departure from Los Angeles, Amtrak's Red Cap service will take us out to Track 10. Climbing aboard the golf cart, we're swiftly whisked away to our train. We pause briefly to allow 2 LA Metro trains to pass, the overpass on which we sit a great vantage point to enjoy the lights of LA in the dying twilight. Our golf cart pulls up beside car 430 and we can climb aboard. We'll be staying in room 9 on our adventure, the roomette located at the front of our sleeper. While we may be on board, we aren't scheduled to depart for another 25 minutes, which means we've got plenty of time to go out and take a look at the 2 beautiful P-42s hauling the Southwest Chief. Taking charge of Southwest Chief number 4 are P-42s number 18 and 11. Despite many of the surrounding long-distance routes being replaced with Amtrak's new Siemens ALC-42s, the Southwest Chief retains its P-42s, at least for now. On the opposite track, Pacific Surfliner 784 departs en route to San Diego. As train 784 leaves LA, it's time to get back on board ahead of departure. Right at 5:55 p.m., our train heads out of Los Angeles, beginning our 43-hour ride to the Windy City. The LA River guides us out and away from downtown LA, though there's next to nothing to see with the sun now long gone. Departing LA, our incredible sleeper attendant Steven comes through to introduce himself and to give us a rundown of the sleeper. Steven was incredibly attentive and kind throughout our entire 3-day odyssey, and I just want to extend a thank you to him for making our trip that much more enjoyable. The dining car attendant soon stops by our room to give us our dinner reservation for tonight. I chose the 7:45 p.m. dining time, though earlier options are available. Our brief stop in Fullerton brings a splash of light and color, the unmistakable yellow of a Union Pacific diner and sleeper spotted at the Fullerton Train Museum. Right at 7:45, our dining car attendant makes the first call for our dinner reservation, so it's off to the dining car for a wonderful meal. Seating in the dining car is set up in tables of 4. Amtrak staff will seat you with other groups to fill said tables, so get ready to make some friends along the way. The Southwest Chief, as with many of Amtrak's Western long-distance trains, serves Amtrak's traditional dining menu. Traditional dining includes fresh-cooked options for breakfast and lunch, plus a 3-course meal for dinner. Dinner starts with an appetizer of either a caprese skewer, coconut-crusted shrimp, or mixed green salad. For entrees, Amtrak offers their signature flat iron steak, pan-roasted chicken breast, Atlantic salmon, or a rigatoni bolognese. A warm bread roll is delivered by our waiter along with our rum and coke. Sleeper passengers are allowed 1 complimentary alcoholic beverage at dinner. Anything after that is a paid extra. Of course, non-alcoholic beverages are complimentary during any dining service. With a light load of passengers on day 1, our appetizers are served almost as soon as we order them. The skewers are delicious. The fresh mozzarella, roasted tomatoes, and rich balsamic are a wonderful combination. We barely have time to finish our appetizer before our main course arrives. Amtrak's signature steak comes laid on a bed of mashed potatoes with port wine sauce, a side of green beans and carrots, and a garnish of fried onions. The steak is one of my 2 go-to options for dinner on long-distance trains. The other we'll see for dinner on day 2. As I expected, this steak is delicious. The meat is well seasoned and cooked perfectly. It's juicy, tender, and really fantastic. The port wine sauce is sweet and tangy, pairing wonderfully with the mashed potatoes. The side of carrots and beans adds a lighter, fresher note to an otherwise heavy dish, the veggies tying together what is an amazing meal. The final course of our 3-course meal is dessert. Amtrak offers 3 options for dessert: a white chocolate blueberry cheesecake, a lemon cake, and a chocolate toffee mousse. I've never had the lemon cake before, so why don't we give that a try to see what it's all about. Our slice of cake is served quickly with 2 dollops of whipped cream on either side. Taking our first bite, we're met with a light and moist cake. It's tart but sweet and very heavy on the lemon. If you're a fan of lemony desserts, then this is the option for you. While it's tasty, I much prefer the cheesecake or chocolate mousse, so I'll be sticking with those for future dinners. Dinner tonight easily sits at an 8.5 out of 10. While the appetizer and entree were fantastic, the lemon cake just wasn't the way to end off the dining experience, but that's mainly down to personal preference. It was also at this first dinner where I met Alan and Howard, 2 of the wonderful people also traveling from LA to Chicago. The 3 of us ended up sharing many meals together, trading stories, and enjoying the ride for hours on end. Anyways, it was a pleasure to meet you both, and I hope both of you are doing well. As we dine, we ascend Cajon Pass, which brings our train up to an elevation of 3,777 feet, or 1,151 meters. Just on the other side of the pass is one of Virtual Railfan's rail cams, the lights in the windows illuminating our train as we roll on by. Returning to our room, the seats have been folded down into their sleeping configuration, the bedding laid out on top. The lower bunk in each roomette is 6 foot 6 inches long by 2 feet 4 inches wide, and is plenty comfortable enough for my 6'3" frame. For my metric viewers out there, that's 200 centimeters long and 72 centimeters wide. Each bed comes with upper and lower sheets, a warm blanket, and a comfortable pillow. While the bed is set up, we won't need it for another hour, as the Southwest Chief has to make its first fresh air stop in Barstow, California. It's about 9:54 p.m., our train 11 minutes behind schedule. Barstow is home to the Casa del Desierto, a Harvey house built in 1911. Harvey houses were a chain of hotels and restaurants built alongside the evolving railroads in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Barstow's Casa del Desierto closed in 1971, though the building remains as one of the last and finest examples of a Harvey house today. Casa del Desierto is dressed up in holiday decor. The main columns sport the red and white stripes of candy canes, wreaths and garlands cover the railings, and strands of lights dangle down from the second story. After a quick look at the Arizona and California Railways Pullman heavyweight car, it's time to climb back aboard the Southwest Chief for a good night's rest. Climbing under the covers, it's lights out on day 1. We're up early on day 2. It's just before sunrise here in Arizona, the horizon alight with a beautiful orange hue. Headlights from Interstate 40 and Route 66 dot the land ahead of us, the Southwest Chief running parallel to the historic highway all the way to Albuquerque. It's a brisk winter morning, the steam from Cholla Power Plant and Cholla Lake billowing off into the air. The reason I'm up so early is because we're about to cross through Petrified Forest National Park. Petrified Forest is one of only a handful of national parks through which Amtrak trains cross. The national park is known for and named after the large deposits of petrified wood, which date back to anywhere from 201 to 237 million years ago. It's also home to some really stunning geography. The sun soon returns to its rightful position in the sky, the Southwest Chief effortlessly gliding its way down the rails. Now fully awake, it's time for breakfast. Breakfast is seated on a first-come, first-served basis and is served from 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. Amtrak offers 5 choices for breakfast: their signature French toast, a 3-egg omelet, scrambled eggs, a breakfast quesadilla, and the classic continental selection. I've had excellent results with all of the options, but I chose the breakfast quesadilla for our first of 2 breakfasts. As always, I start my mornings with a cup of coffee and a glass of orange juice. The food takes a bit to arrive, but I'm in no rush, just sitting back, sipping on my OJ, and enjoying the Arizona scenery. Our quesadilla comes hot and ready, stuffed with eggs, cheese, and a side of roasted potatoes. As expected, it's an excellent way to start the day. The tortilla is crispy, the eggs fluffy, and the cheese savory, though I would have liked a bit more salsa to go with. The potatoes are also tasty, seasoned with a flavorful blend of spices. As far as breakfasts go, it's a solid 8 out of 10. A filling and welcome way to start off what will be a beautiful day. The cliffs grow ever closer as we reach the Arizona-New Mexico border, the Welcome to New Mexico sign greeting us on the other side. Right as breakfast wraps up, the Southwest Chief pulls to a stop in Gallup, New Mexico, our first fresh air break on day 2. It's a beautiful crisp winter morning. There's not a cloud in the sky, but there is some snow on the ground, a little taste of what's to come later today. Gallup was founded in 1881 and was named after Atlantic and Pacific Railroad paymaster David Gallup. I will never not enjoy gazing up at Superliners. Their high silver sides and patriotic pinstriping look amazing in the morning sun. Departing Gallup, the beautiful New Mexico scenery continues. Interstate 40 and the BNSF Southern Transcon parallel the impressive ridgeline east, the stunning red rocks illuminated by the morning sun. In the distance, Mount Taylor looms high above, its snow-capped peak 11,305 feet above sea level. With nearly 2 hours before our next stop, now is a great time for a tour of our Superliner Roomette. At 6.5 by 3.5 feet or 200 by 100 centimeters, Amtrak's Roomette is the smallest and cheapest sleeping accommodation offered. Each room includes 2 bunks with enough space for 2 adults, though I recommend only sleeping 1 per roomette. Each room includes a sliding door with a positive lock and curtains for privacy well inside. During the day, roomettes include 2 seats. Both are very comfortable with plenty of cushioning on the back and bottom and can recline using the bar beneath. Each seat comes with a single comfortable pillow. They're a little on the soft side, which I don't mind too much, but for those who prefer firmer pillows, I recommend stacking 2 for a better sleeping experience. The rearward seat on today's train offers an over-the-shoulder reading light, the room's temperature controls, and the room's singular outlet. I've said it before and I'll say it again, bring a power strip, or at the very least, a plug with multiple USB ports to ensure you'll have enough charging points for multiple devices. While the temperature control is done via the dial beside the seat, the air itself is controlled via the ceiling vent. Flipping the lever opens and closes the flaps inside the vent, allowing for precise control over airflow. The forward seat includes a reading light of its own, volume controls for PA announcements, an attendant call button, and the room's light controls. Each roomette includes 2 large windows for some incredible views of the scenery outside, though curtains can be drawn shut when needed. Between the 2 seats is the room's tray table, safety information card, and menu for our journey. We've already seen the traditional dining options, but it's great to take a look at the meal options before heading to the dining car. The tray table lifts up and folds out across the 2 seats. Beside the forward-facing seat are the stairs up to the top bunk. Atop the stairs is a box of tissues, below is the room's trash can, and between is a small storage space for personal belongings. There's also a large vertical mirror and coat hook on the wall above the top step. Opposite the staircase is a deep but narrow hold for personal belongings. Really, the only thing I can fit in there is my laptop and maybe a few smaller things, but my backpack must remain on top. Coat hooks and hangers are found just above the storage hold, the belt keeping my Amtrak jacket in place. Complimentary hand and face towels are stored in the cubbies below the room's light fixture, beside which is yet another coat hanger. Above the seating area is the top bunk, which folds down when needed. The top bunk holds the bedding for the lower bunk and the blankets for both passengers. The top bunk also includes a mesh pocket for personal belongings, a reading light, and safety straps to prevent injury while in bed. While the roomette is small, I found it's the perfect mix between personal space and cozy compartment. The beds are just long and wide enough for me to sleep comfortably while still keeping the price down on longer journeys. One of the 2 key things missing from the Superliner roomettes is a bathroom. Instead of including an ensuite toilet, Superliner roomette passengers are allowed access to shared facilities, found next to the stairwell or on the lower level of each car. The bathrooms are small but functional with a basic sink and toilet. This one, unlike many I've seen over the years, is practically spotless. Sure, it's not new, but it's incredibly clean. The sink works well, the hot and cold taps spraying out high-pressure water on each press. Beside the sink is a bottle of soap and the trash can, a couple boxes of tissues, the bathroom's single outlet, and paper towels. This is a prime example of a Superliner 2 bathroom at its best. It's functional and clean, though definitely on the small side. In the distance, the peaks of the Sandia Mountains protrude from the desert. At the foot of the mountains lies Albuquerque, New Mexico, our next stop in about 20 minutes. If you're enjoying our ride on Amtrak Southwest Chief, why not hit that subscribe button? It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. If you want to go the extra mile with your support, then check out the channel's Patreon or become a channel member. If you too want your name in the video, access to exclusive weekly posts, and even the opportunity to vote on future videos, then click the links in the top right or the description below to learn more. The suburbs of Albuquerque quickly surround the Southwest Chief, our train pulling to a stop in New Mexico's largest and most populous city. Albuquerque is one of 2 long fresh air breaks on the Southwest Chief. Here, Amtrak refuels, restocks, recrews, and recertifies the Southwest Chief. The stop is scheduled to take around 30 minutes, but we've arrived 24 minutes early, which leaves us with just under an hour to enjoy Albuquerque. Just ahead of our stopped train are the platforms for the New Mexico RailRunner. The commuter rail line connects Albuquerque to Belen in the south and Santa Fe in the north. Passing through the small but pretty Albuquerque station building, we can follow the streets for an aerial view of the Southwest Chief. From atop one of the bridges over the railway, we get this stunning view of our train in all its glory. The high New Mexico sun shines brilliantly off the silvery sides of our stainless steel Superliners. Ahead, the tracks continue north out of Albuquerque, the mountain range in the distance hinting at the views coming in the next few hours. From the bridges over the railway, we also catch a glimpse of the RailRunner's maintenance yard. The sights aren't all on the ground here in Albuquerque. In the skies above, U.S. Air Force KC-135 Stratotanker 59er-1501 performs a couple touch-and-go runs in and out of Albuquerque International Sunport. While Albuquerque serves as a great chance to grab some amazing footage, it's also an opportunity for passengers to grab some food, toiletries, or any other travel needs from the nearby stores. With at least half an hour here, oftentimes more, there's plenty of time to go out and do some shopping or just explore Albuquerque. Departing Albuquerque, it's time for lunch. The dining car is fairly empty by the time we arrive, but fills up quickly. Amtrak offers 6 lunch options on their traditional dining menu: a mixed green salad, Monte Cristo sandwich, an Angus burger, plant-based vegetarian burger, a loaded baked potato with chili, and a savory chili bowl. Really, the last 2 are variations on one another, so it's more like 5.5 options for lunch. I went with the loaded baked potato, which comes topped with vegan chili, cheddar cheese, sour cream, scallions, and bacon. As we wait for our food, the Sandia Mountains once again take center stage, their high peaks keeping everyone's eyes occupied as they dine. The baked potato has quickly become one of my favorite lunch options on Amtrak. You get a lot of food with a huge potato and generous serving of chili. Plus, it tastes great. The chili is savory with a slight note of sweetness and plenty of spices. The bacon, cheese, and a few scallions add some fantastic flavor contrasts, everything coming together for one of the best lunch options on the traditional dining menu. The tracks of the New Mexico RailRunner break off from the Chief, the commuter service continuing north into Santa Fe. Of course, with lunch comes a small dessert. The butter cake called my name on this occasion, which comes served with a dollop of whipped cream and a drizzle of raspberry and chocolate sauce. As we work on our dessert, we pull into and out of Lamy, New Mexico. The snow on the ground has slowly transitioned from a light dusting to larger patches, and soon a thick sheet as we continue north. Wrapping up dessert, I head swiftly to the rear of the train for what will be the most beautiful segment of Day 2, the Glorieta Pass. The railroad through the pass was built in 1879, which became part of the Second North American Transcontinental Railroad in 1881. The Santa Fe Railroad ran trains through the pass for many decades, with most services running between Chicago and Los Angeles. The Southwest Chief follows the same route between LA and Chicago, the pass one of the highlights of the journey. Around the tracks, the Sangre de Cristo Mountains grow ever taller, the tracks and surrounding landscape covered in a thick bed of fresh snow. It's slow going through the mountains, but that just means we have even more time to enjoy the beautiful scenery. Let's just take a minute to really enjoy these incredible snowy mountains. As we reach the end of Glorietta Pass, our train shuffles onto a siding, allowing our sister service to pass us by on the main line. Train 3 is running 3 engines today, with Locomotive 203 leading, adorned in Amtrak's 50 years C-Trax Think Train livery. While we're at the rear of the train, it's worth taking a look at Amtrak's much more affordable option, Coach Class. Coach Class on Amtrak's Superliners is operated in a 2x2, with the seats here sporting Amtrak's new long-distance upholstery. Each coach seat offers a ton of legroom. With almost 2 to 2.5 feet of space, there may as well not be a seat in front, though my legs do barely reach beneath the next row. A footrest folds down from the seat back and is actually usable for taller individuals. The seatback pocket is the same as any other on Amtrak, inside of which is the Superliner safety information card. The tray table folds down from the seat in front, sliding forward to bridge the gap. While most tables work great, the tray table at the seat I've chosen to review is broken. The stop holding it upright has given out, which would be quite the inconvenience for longer rides. Above each row are 2 lights activated by the buttons in between, beside which is an attendant call button that I'm sure no longer works. At-seat power is provided through the usual 2 outlets below the window. Amtrak's long-distance coach seats allow passengers to adjust both the seat recline angle and a supportive leg rest. The upper lever beside each seat controls the seat back, the lower for the leg rest. The leg rest is found beneath the seat and can be pulled up into one of the many ratcheting settings. It's quite long, leaving about 8 inches of space to the next row, and creates a comfortable relaxing or sleeping position when combined with the recline of the seat back. Coach seats recline considerably far, about 30 degrees, without really interfering with the passenger behind due to the increased space between rows. And here's what maximum recline and leg rest height looks like. The seats are also very well padded, and a quick visual inspection confirms this. The backrest is about 4 inches thick, the bottom a similar depth. For larger bags, luggage racks are located above both sides of the train, with larger racks found on the bottom floor. Coach Class is a great way to travel on Amtrak. The newer upholstery and significant recline angle make these seats great for longer journeys. And it's much cheaper than our Roomette. A coach seat from Los Angeles to Chicago costs around $232, while our Roomette was almost quintuple that at $1,042. For the space you get, scenery you'll see, and experience you'll have, it's absolutely worth it. Returning to our room, the Sangre de Cristo Mountains fade into the horizon, the snow-covered fields dotted with evergreen trees. It's been a while since our last stop, and would you look at that? Next stop, Las Vegas, where dreams are made, wallets are emptied, and the neon lights shine brighter than the stars. Oh, it seems there's been an error in the script. We're stopping in Las Vegas, New Mexico, a much smaller and quieter town than Sin City itself. Departing Las Vegas, I figured I'd spend some time in the lounge car, enjoying the sights and chatting with some of my fellow passengers. As we enjoy the frigid New Mexico landscapes, the sun descends to and soon below the horizon, the sky alight with beautiful pinks. Of course, it's just our luck that the sun is set right as we make our stop in Raton before climbing the Raton Pass. I was hoping we'd get at least some daylight running before the highest portion of the Santa Fe Railroad, but it just wasn't meant to be. Our dinner reservation is called as we cross into Colorado. Sitting down in the dining car, I'm quick to order, opting for the caprese skewers and pan-seared chicken breast. My alcoholic beverage of choice this evening is yet another rum and coke. The appetizers are out quickly, and our skewers are delicious as ever. Our chicken breast is next, with a side of lemon risotto, green beans, and carrots. The chicken breast is a little on the dry side, though the meat is tender. The flavor is great, the tomato butter sauce complementing the spices on the chicken breast wonderfully. The risotto's mild lemon flavor adds a lighter note without stealing the show. Add in the veggies, and it's a great meal. For dessert, I went back to my favorite option, the chocolate mousse cake. The mousse is super rich, the amount of chocolate flavor nearly too much to handle. The toffee stripe down the center adds a nice crunch, the decadent dessert topped with a dollop of whipped cream and a drizzle of both chocolate and raspberry sauce. Once again, it's a 10 out of 10 dessert. As a whole, dinner is a solid 9 out of 10. The caprese starter is always fantastic, the chicken breast, although a little bit dry, is tasty and tender, and the chocolate mousse, well, it's just awesome. Yet another fantastic dining experience with Amtrak. With dinner now wrapped up, it's time to get cleaned off before heading to bed. With no ensuite shower, Roomette passengers must use the communal facility on the lower level. The shower room is divided into two spaces, a changing area and a shower stall. The changing area includes complimentary towels, a bucket of toiletries, and bars of soap. There's also a couple outlets, a trash can, tissues, and a linen bag for dirty towels. Behind the curtain is the shower. Superliner 2 showers are basic but functional, the detachable shower head a welcome addition for taller individuals. The water pressure is surprisingly high, especially for a train. The temperature is easily adjusted through the valve on the wall. It's certainly not a perfect showering experience, but it gets the job done, and that's good enough for me. Returning to our room, it's back under the covers for another welcome night's sleep. The sun is nowhere to be seen when we awake on day 3. It's just before sunrise here on the outskirts of Kansas City, Missouri, and the Southwest Chief is about to make its first fresh air stop on day 3. Descending to the platform, we step out into the foggy Missouri morning. Kansas City is yet another longer fresh air break. Much like in Albuquerque, the locomotives of the Southwest Chief must be re-inspected before continuing on to Chicago. Kansas City is also the first point where an Amtrak Midwest route crosses paths with the Southwest Chief. On the opposite track, Amtrak's Missouri RailRunner lies dormant ahead of its 8:40 a.m. departure. The Missouri RailRunner connects Kansas City with St. Louis, the service continuing north to Chicago. Amtrak Midwest trains are powered by Siemens SC44 Chargers with a mix of Amfleet Horizon and Siemens Venture coaches. The all-aboard call comes right at 7:28 a.m., our train pulling out of Kansas City a few minutes later. The cool morning air did wonders to wake me up, but what helps even more is a cup of coffee. At the center of our car is just what I need, a freshly brewed pot of coffee. Amtrak car attendants brew a fresh pot of coffee every morning, with water available throughout the day. Alright, it's time for breakfast. Breakfast starts with a cup of orange juice to go with our coffee, followed quickly by our main course, Amtrak's signature French toast. Our breakfast comes with 4 pieces of thick-cut French toast, dusted with powdered sugar, a few strips of bacon, some strawberries, and a container of breakfast syrup. The toast is nice, it's not too sweet on its own, with most of the sugar coming from the syrup. The bacon is again a good choice, and the strawberries are crisp and fresh. It's definitely a solid breakfast option, and I'll have to give it another 8 out of 10. Returning to our room, it's time to take a look at the other sleeper on today's train, the transition sleeper. Transition sleepers are a variant of the standard Superliner 2 sleeper and allow trains to transition from single-level to bi-level cars, hence their name transition sleepers. Transition dorms include almost exclusively roomettes situated along a single corridor, a single accessible bedroom on the lower level. Roomettes start with numbers 1 through 8, but then jump to 15 to 24 for a total of 17, though the lower number rooms are traditionally reserved for the train staff. While the traditional central staircase remains, a second has been added to the front of the coach. This front set of stairs descends to single-level boarding height, Locomotive 11's headlights just barely visible through the dust-covered window. Transition dorms include not one, not two, but 3 communal showers. The usual showers located on the lower level, with 2 more on the upper. The lower level includes a few bathrooms, the single accessible bedroom, and a feature exclusive to transition dorms, the crew lounge. The lounge is a quiet hideaway for the staff, providing the crew with a bit of respite away from their regular duties. The miles fly by, the tracks butting up against the mighty Mississippi as we pull into Fort Madison, Iowa. Fort Madison is a shorter fresh air break than most, the stop a bonus on top of the usually scheduled ones. Just beside Fort Madison's platform is a beautiful Santa Fe caboose. 99235 is a Class CE-1 caboose and was built for the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway in 1942 and was rebuilt in 1968. This one specifically has been placed here for preservation, and I believe you can go inside, though I'm not entirely sure. Right as a BNSF loaded coal train rolls past on the opposite track, the all aboard call rings out, the crew ushering us back on board. Immediately following our departure from Fort Madison, the Southwest Chief crosses the Mississippi River via the Fort Madison Bridge. This 1927 constructed double-deck swing bridge carries 2 railway lines and 2 lanes of roadway traffic 1 mile or 1.6 kilometers across the Mississippi River. It's once again time for lunch on the Southwest Chief. Returning to the dining car, I was quick to reorder the loaded baked potato, the warmth of the potato welcome against the cold Midwest winter weather. For dessert, I went back to the butter cake, which again comes drizzled with raspberry and chocolate sauce and a bit of whipped cream on the side. Once again, a very pleasant and filling meal. Past Mendota, the Southwest Chief picks up speed across the Midwest plains. Through Aurora, Illinois, the tracks of Metra's BNSF line begins its parallel run into Chicago. Down on the platforms, 2 Metro trains lie in wait, with many more sitting idle in the yard beyond the station. Naperville is the Southwest Chief's penultimate stop en route to Chicago. It's a quick stop here, though we're forced to wait for freight traffic just outside of the station. To see us into Chicago today is none other than the wonderful Miles Jajich, who was so gracious as to head out to Belmont Station to get this fantastic shot of our train flying past. Absolutely massive shout out and thank you to Miles for the spot and footage. Make sure to check him out at the link below. The Chicago skyline slowly emerges from the Midwest fog, westbound California Zephyr Train 5 meeting us on the outskirts of the Windy City. Our train makes one final turn to run down the center of Amtrak and Metra's yards, the Southwest Chief pulling into Chicago Union Station at the end of the line. Grabbing our bags, we can head down the stairs one final time before exiting into Chicago's Union Station. It's been an unreal adventure, but we must now bid farewell to the train which has brought us 2/3 of the way across the country. Heading inside Chicago's Union Station, we can follow the signs to the Great Hall, the best place to leave off any Amtrak journey. Arriving at the stunning Great Hall, it's finally time to bring this incredible video to a close. If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. I know this was a very long video, but these long-distance trains have so much to show that it doesn't make sense to cut anything short. Thanks again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. Download today using the link in the description to get the Epic Champion Drake and more. Anyways, if you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. Another huge shout out and thank you to my loyal patrons and members. Y'all are amazing and your incredible generosity is greatly appreciated. If you too want your name in the video or just want to support the channel in more ways than one, then head on over to the links in the description below. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.